What's up, nerds? It's Pat from the Nerds You're Looking For podcast, and today I want to talk about the big news I just heard revolving around Fortnite Battle Royale. But before we get started, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, smash that like button. All three of those things will really help us out a lot. So recently, I think it was like a day or two ago, the Wall Street Journal online posted an article about these parents that are paying for tutors for their kids to learn and get better at Fortnite Battle Royale. And I actually wanted to read the actual article on wallstreetjournal.com, but unfortunately Wall Street Journal did not get the memo that it's 2018 and they're still doing that weird thing where they only let you like read a paragraph of something and then you actually have to sign in for the rest of the article, which I think is weird that people are still doing that, publications are still doing that. However, I was able to read kind of a summary article on IGN. Again, I kind of wanted to read the actual article just because I think it's kind of interesting the way that like mainstream media, which I would consider Wall Street Journal to be mainstream media, kind of phrases certain stories like this or frames certain stories like this. Especially wanted to read the comments on wallstreetjournal.com, but unfortunately I couldn't do that again because they didn't get the memo that it was 2018. However, I was able to read the comments on the IGN article that kind of summarized the Wall Street Journal's article. And I was actually really surprised. Before I get into my thoughts about this, I was really surprised at how many people commented on this article and were kind of negative towards it. Because honestly, IGN's big core audience is gamers. And I didn't think that gamers would think that that was that big of a deal. And it seems like a lot of these comments are saying like, I played X amount of hours at Fortnite before I got better and you're basically finding this shortcut. And I think a lot of that just comes out of jealousy that your parents aren't supportive of your gaming hobby, or maybe they're not well off enough to do this for you. And I mean, who cares? Like, honestly, who cares how you get good at a game as long as you get good at it? And now I, of course, don't mean cheat. Of course I don't mean that, but if this helps you get better at a game, just do it. Like, I think everybody out there has watched like how to get better at whatever game or how to do this or that or walkthroughs and stuff like that. Everybody's done it, whether or not they're willing to admit it or not, they've done it. However, the biggest issue, and I think the biggest hurdle that the majority of the public are just going to have to get over before we stop seeing articles like this, is the fact that people don't take gaming seriously. I've been banging this drum for years now, but I don't understand the difference between this, that parents are paying people to help their son or daughter get good at a video game, versus a parent that pays someone to teach their son or daughter to get better at golf or tennis or any other legitimate sport, at least what they think is a legitimate sport. And like I said, I've been banging this drum for a while. I actually get in this argument with people all the time. When I was a freshman in college, I had to take a public speaking course, and the last speech that we had to give in this class was a persuasive speech. And my topic, I mean, of course I got to choose the topic. My topic was, I think that gaming should be considered a sport. And this is long before esports really took off. I'm not even sure if there were esports leagues at this point. I'm sure that they were, if they were kind of in their infant stages, because this was in 2005. So I've been banging this drum for 13 years. And what I think it boils down to is people just don't respect gaming like they do respect other sports. For example, there was an article, I'm not sure exactly when this happened, but there was a pro gamer called Phasey Sensor, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. Well, I'm sure it's just his username. I'm pretty sure that's not on his birth certificate. But anyways, I'm not familiar with him before I saw this story. Is he essentially put out this video saying that him and his girlfriend, who is famous in her own right, they broke up because he wanted to focus more on his career and playing Call of Duty. And mainstream media just went crazy over this story. all the headlines that you would read was gamer breaks up with girlfriend to play Call of Duty. And what they didn't mention was that he's a professional gamer. That is his job, to play Call of Duty. And they minimize it by just with those stupid fucking headlines. They don't take professional gamers seriously. Just imagine a story about a quarterback going into the season saying, hey, I just broke up with my girlfriend because I want all of my attention to be on this season. I'm going all in on this team. I'm going all in on this season. Imagine what people would say about that versus what they said about this guy who did the exact same thing. The only difference is they actually respect the NFL. They don't respect Call of Duty pro players or pro players at video games at all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not arguing by any means that professional gamers should be considered athletes like football players are considered athletes. In America, we have 4 major sports. You have football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. And even within those 4, there are different caliber of athletes. I would say that basketball players out of all 4 of those big sports are probably the best athletes. Because if you watch a basketball game versus a football or baseball game, they're constantly sprinting up and down, jumping, all that good stuff all the time. Even football, where it's a very physical sport, but if you watch a football game, the plays last for 10, 15 seconds, and then they get a 30-second break or whatever. So there is even a difference between the 4 major sports as far as how athletic and how intense the sport is. And even if you open it up to Olympic sports, then you have an even bigger discrepancy between the athletes. You have archery, you have curling, all of these weird sports that are considered sports that are taken more seriously than gaming. But there are legitimate studies out there, scientific studies that say that the memory it takes to be good at video games, the eye-hand coordination, the reflexes, all of that stuff that you have to be a gamer at that level. I'm not saying that I'm close to that. I'm actually pretty bad at Fortnite, to be honest with you. But to be at that level, it is pretty much up there with those professional athletes. Obviously, we don't have to do the physical activity that those guys do, which is, again, why I don't argue that they should be considered athletes in that realm. But it should be considered more of a serious sport than just a hobby. And that's why, kind of getting back to this particular article, that's why I thought it was so important to read the actual article, because I wanted to see how the Wall Street Journal framed this. Because a lot of times with the mainstream media, they kind of almost poke fun at this, and that pisses me off. But of course, as with all of these videos, that is just my humble opinion. I'd love to hear what you nerds have to say. Whether or not you agree with me or not, really, I honestly want to make this more of a conversation. So if you have an opinion about this, just let me know in the comment section below. And of course, like I said earlier in the call to action, I really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, smash that like button. All of those things help us out tremendously, especially being a tiny YouTube channel that we are. We need all the help that you guys are willing to give us. So as always, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Do all of those things I just asked you to do. And I will put all the links to everything else that we do, including the podcast, The Nerd You're Looking For, in the video description below. For Patrick Kuhn, I am the nerd you're looking for. Take it easy, nerds.